On this episode of China Uncensored, chop up your enemies for Chinese New Year. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Wow, Chinese New Year is finally right around the corner. February 8th, another year nearly over, and all I can say is I am glad to have survived. I have so many enemies. Probably. All of them out to get me. Probably. But now that it's New Year, I can get back at all those petty people for every imagined slight. You know, petty people. Those people that love to pry into others' affairs and stir up trouble. But not to worry, because according to a tradition in some regions of China, the Lunar New Year is apparently a time to get back at all of them. Now, as you know, Chinese New Year is also a time for homemade dumplings, or jiaozi. But you don't want petty people interfering, do you? So make sure you do what this guy does. Mold your jiaozi filling into the shape of some petty person you know, and then chop. That's why on the 5th day of the Lunar New Year, some people do a tradition called duoxiaoren, or chopping petty people. You see, China has a long tradition, in stories, art, and music, of ordinary people being wronged, but not having the power to do anything about it, especially when it comes to being wronged by people in power. And so they turn to the supernatural realm for justice denied on Earth. Hence, traditions like chopping up petty people. Wow, this guy must know a lot of petty people. And this guy, well, he might actually just have some anger issues. Anyway, as you make your dumplings from the symbolic minced flesh of your enemies, you need to, of course, pinch those dumplings closed. As this man demonstrates, that's part of the tradition too. It's called pinching petty people's mouths. Another fun tradition is the writing of names of people you don't like on the bottom of socks and then stomping around in them. It's called taishaoren, stepping on petty people. This is actually a thing, to the extent that you can even buy socks with the words petty person printed on the bottom. What's that, Shelley? Oh, you think that's petty? All right. Shelley. Anyway, speaking of Chinese tradition, 2016 will be the year of the monkey. That's according to the traditional Chinese placemat zodiac. And to celebrate, it's time for the 3rd annual China Uncensored Viewer Contest Gala Extravaganza Spectacular Event Thing! For the uninitiated, here's how it works. Draw your very best Year of the Monkey and send it to me on my Facebook page. I'll pick the winner based on my completely arbitrary standard of how much I like it. The grand prize is a collector's edition China Uncensored poster, personally signed by a poorly paid worker in squalid factory conditions. And I will send you the poster in the actual mail. So keep your eye out for a future episode where I announce the winner. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Happy New Year. So if a member of the Communist Party does something wrong, it's up to his communist comrades, not the court system, to find the best way to reform him. 5 of these restaurants in China are already being prosecuted, while the other 30 are still under investigation.